If you had a bachelor party or a bachelorette, I want to know what you did for it. That relates to this story because this story is titled, "My fiance might have hooked up with a dancer at her bachelorette." And I'm saying dancer because I can't say the other word, but you know what kind of dancer it is. This story came November 29th, 2019. I deleted my earlier post because I was so messed up about it at the time that I realized it wasn't healthy to have a conversation about it yet. I made that post right after the guy called me in an attempt to cope, but it didn't work. The guy calls you. I can't read this faster. My thoughts were getting too dark and I needed to completely separate myself from the situation for safety. After holding myself up at my parents' place and surrounding myself with people I could trust, my head is back on straight and I will fill in those who asked for the story and update. I will refer to my fiance as Jane. One of the bridesmaids' husbands contacted me and told me that he had seen something that made him suspect Jane had been sexual with a dancer at her bachelorette party. Any sex or romantic kissing outside the relationship was a complete deal breaker, and that was established when the relationship began. When I asked him for details, he indicated a HJ in a roundabout way. I obviously can't say the actual sexual act, but I can say HJ. You can figure that out. When I asked if he could be mistaken or misinterpreting a text or overheard conversation, he kept insisting that he was 100% sure. I personally know the bridesmaid. I think she was feeling guilty and she was using her husband as some sort of proxy informant to keep my girlfriend from coming after her when I confronted her. When I got off the phone with the guy, I was so destroyed about it, I just shut down. I just had my own sort of non-bachelor party at home playing WoW Classic with some friends. So to hear this news after such a wonderful day hit extra hard. My cousin, who has been friends with Jane since childhood, went to the party with her, so I decided to try to calm down and wait until the next day to ask her if she saw anything happen. At this point, I was still hoping that this was some kind of misunderstanding or mean prank. Jane didn't live with me and she was planning on staying the night at her parents' home, so I knew that she wouldn't show up unannounced. I basically laid in bed all day staring at the dark ceiling, listening to The Doors, trying not to lose my mind. I waited until noon the next day to call my cousin. I wasn't able to get through the first 5 times I called. Red alarms were going off like crazy now. So when I suspected she was avoiding me, I went over to my parents' place and I used my dad's office line. When she finally answered the phone and realized it was me, the somber tone in the voice of a normally annoyingly upbeat 23-year-old party girl pretty much told me everything I needed. This is how it went. I said, "I heard things got a little crazier than usual last night." All she said was, "Yeah." I said, "I think you already know why I'm calling, don't you?" And she said, "Yes," obviously holding back tears at this point. Basically, long and weeping cousin story short, I found out Jane did indeed give the dancer an HJ along with several other women, some of who are in LTRs or married, long-term relationship. They then decided to leave the house they were at and drive intoxicated to the club afterwards, where Jane and a few other women had private dances. My cousin tried to argue that this doesn't mean Jane doesn't love me and that it was just meaningless fun that got out of hand. That infuriated me. I did not shout at her, but I told her if that's what she thinks, she has no idea what love actually is. At this point, I informed my parents and brothers what was going on, and of course, my mother started crying. Another person hurt by this stupid BS. I spent the rest of the day laying in bed at my parents' house, staring at the ceiling, ignoring Jane's calls and texts. I know some people have more open relationships and can get past stuff like this, but I'm just not that guy. I'm monogamous all the way to the center. I eventually canceled everything and I lost a bunch of deposits. I know it's a crappy move, but I broke up with Jane over text. I decided it was best to just walk away with no serious confrontation. There was nothing to gain by shouting, arguing, making accusations, or calling her names. When people are cornered like this, when they do something wrong, they can lash out, and I didn't want to have the woman I was about to marry say horrible stuff to me in some sort of defense of her behavior. behavior. I am heartbroken and I feel betrayed, and that kind of crap is not going to help. I just sent her a text explaining that I know what she did. I explained I don't want revenge. I'm not interested in humiliating her or her friends and spreading it around, but it is a sure sign that we aren't right for each other and it's over without any possibility of reconciliation. I waited until she responded once to make sure she got the text, and I blocked her on my phone and all social media. I gave the crap she had at my place to my cousin to give back to her, and I haven't heard from her or her family since. Like, you're just about to marry this person. I still feel like dog poo, but I am doing better as far as not feeling like a black hole is sucking me inside out. But this wasn't like the breakups I had in high school and college. Something broke inside me this time that can't be repaired like before. My confidence is completely destroyed in my body now. I keep thinking about what it was about the dancer guy that is so incredible that he could make a seemingly faithful woman cheat and potentially throw away everything. Was it his bigger muscles? Better looks, better personality? I'm not a supermodel, but I'm decent. Or am I just stupid? I was 100% sure of this girl, yet I got cheated on right before our wedding. This kind of crap really takes a man's soul, grinds it up, eats it, and then craps it back out, to put it lightly. All right, so we have our first update on the same post. Someone from her camp finally contacted me. Her stepdad called me tonight to ask what was going on and if there's any way to fix things. I didn't give him any details. I just explained that Jane stepped outside the bounds of forgivable behavior in our relationship, and there's absolutely no way to salvage things, and any time spent trying by any party is time wasted. That would be better spent moving on. When I said that, I could tell he understood what it meant and basically what had happened. He's a pretty laid back, old school Hispanic dude, said he's sorry that things didn't work out and he wished me well. Wasn't super close with the guy, but I will miss hanging out in his garage, shooting the crap about motorcycles and stuff. Second update on the same post. I just got done talking to the bridesmaid's husband again, who called me first to let me know what was going on. I don't know him, but I am a friendly acquaintance with his wife. Apparently what happened is his wife became extremely uncomfortable when some of the women started grabbing and stroking the dancer, and she left and went home. When he asked her why she came home early, she got upset and spilled the beans. More than likely to protect her own marriage if it got out, I would guess. Anyway, dude made a moral call and decided the husbands and boyfriends of the women had a right to know how their significant others were acting when they weren't around. And he made his wife give him all the contact info she had. Seriously, I owe this guy so much. Had I found out about this a few years down the line, the end of the relationship would have been so much worse. His wife still won't talk to me, but it doesn't matter now. I told the dude when things settle down, I'm going to take him out and buy him every beer in the bar. Had this dude not had the moral fortitude to make the call, I may have never known. Oh, you definitely would have never known. Unless your cousin broke and told you. But even that, if you didn't find out and you didn't get told, you'd be mad at your cousin for knowing the whole time.
They don't know that we know they know we know.
I wonder if the cousin was gonna tell you. Anyone else thinking about that? Like, are you mad at your cousin? Like, were you gonna tell me? How did you let this happen? Like, what's going on? Not how did you let this happen, because that makes it seem like we're blaming the cousin for her actions. That's not what I meant. I take that back. Who cares what I have to say when we are heading to the Reddit comments? My favorite place to be besides Dollarama. Someone said, firstly, although you are in incredible pain, you seem very strong. I don't know what I would do in a situation like this, but certainly worse than you. I am sorry you're going through this. I have a lot of questions for her. I'm not quite sure if you went through that process, but I would inquire specifically on time, amount of touching. Did he, have the big O, let's say? Like, did she just touch it for like 5 seconds while everyone was laughing, kind of thing? I know you have mentioned that you are 100% monogamous to the bone and that this crossed the line and it's over, but I guess I'm just trying to rationalize because I'm not as strong and I wouldn't want to break up. That being said, good for you for standing your ground, keeping to your morals and cutting her out of your life. You seem like a good man and you will recover and likely come back stronger and find someone better. Do you work out? Get fit, strong, and muscular, and that will help with mental health and physical confidence. OP did respond to this and said, I actually went through that phase wanting to know the details at first, but after talking to my cousin, it just kind of made me sick to think about it, and it was at that moment I decided the only option for me was minimal contact. It's hard to describe, but when that guy first called me and told me, it felt like part of me was dying. It scared me a bit and I didn't want to make it worse, so I opted to walk away like I do. Also, I do exercise. Next comment. It's not that unusual, to be perfectly honest with you. Worse happens at hens parties than most bachelor parties, it seems, though the drunken sailors analogy is pretty on point. As she is friends with your now ex, avoiding your cousin will pretty much be a necessity from this point on. Unless that is that you want to be told stories about how your ex's life has been ruined or how remorseful she is and how much she misses you and how she messed up, etc. No one needs to know that crap, so it's best just to disengage and move on in a different direction with your life. I hope that you cutting the ex out of your life works well and that there will be little to no chance of ever running into each other again, because that would be awkward. Yeah, is your cousin gonna stay friends with her now? Like, if your friend cheated on your cousin, are you gonna remain friends with them? That's super awkward. OP responded and said she will be going to graduate school out of state, so that should minimize things. That does help. Next comment. The sad part is that knowing that the friend that confessed what was happening to her husband left right as it started, from what I understand. I bet it got a lot worse. I read on the other post, oh my God. Okay, I cannot read what is said next, but I read the other day where a dancer put whipped cream on and the bachelorette went to lick it off and then just kept continuing to do that until, yeah, they finished. Gotta really censor words here. She then looked up and realized everyone had their phones out and she started crying and screaming for everyone to delete the pictures and videos. It was too late and her fiance was getting texts of the pictures and videos. Imagine how messed up that would be. Yeah, see, that story's a lot worse than this one. So thanks for sharing.
Thanks a lot, Rachel.
Your situation's bad, but it's not as bad as this one. OP responded and said, I suspect eventually it will all come out as the whole situation has blown up because of the husband calling everyone's significant others. At this point, I don't care though. Her even just stroking the guy's junk was enough for me to end it at that point. Anything that happened afterwards happened after the end of the relationship, in my opinion. Fair enough. Yeah, it would eat you alive trying to guess, especially since they went back to the club and got private dances after. Anything that went on there, I don't think you want to know about it.
No, don't like that.
You know, like they left and went back. Next comment. If you know what happened with the other women, give us info. He said, it will probably be a long time before I ever hear anything. The only 3 women I know for sure who went were my ex, my cousin, and the bridesmaid whose husband called me. I'm never talking to my ex again unless it's some crazy life and death necessity. The bridesmaid won't talk to me because I think she's having a bit of an emotional crisis on her own. And my cousin outright refused to tell me any personal details of anyone else or any details of what happened once they got to the club. She'll be going to graduate school out of town pretty soon, and she's always been the kind to dodge responsibilities and consequences, so she'll probably just skip town and let time smooth everything over. Honestly, at this point, after calming myself down, I just feel bad for the women's families, because the only thing I know about any of the women are that some of them are married or in long-term relationships, and some of them have kids. All for a party. Someone said, just curious, had she just had some lap dances and a drink with no real sexual contact, would you still be getting married? He said, I had a feeling they were going to have a male dancer show up. That would not have bothered me much. Just a bunch of silly girls hooting and hollering, some cash and a G-string, creating a fun memory that they could talk about over coffee and tease their husbands about when they are older. But considering her reserved personality and the fact that we both agreed cheating was a deal breaker, I never dreamed that they would hire a dancer who gets intimate with the women. That was the bridge too far. From what I understand, most of the guys who dance and are willing to get sexual with the women are also male escorts. Sex workers are more likely to carry STDs, and the fact that she would possibly expose me to that without my consent shows a serious emotional problem I didn't realize was there. I didn't even think of that. I always forget that. In every cheating story, I'm always like, my mind never goes to infections and possibly, right, yes. And let's not pretend that clubs are necessarily the cleanest of places. You know, there's just a lot of action and things going on all the time. I've heard stories. Fun fact, while we hydrate everybody, I'm hydrating with tea, lemon and ginger tea. Let me know what's in your cup, but drink your water. Cheers. And on that note, if you've ever wondered, have you ever been to a dancer club, Jocelyn? Yes, I have. I have. It was just the thing when we all turned 18. That's when you were allowed into them over here. So we thought it was funny on our friend's 18th birthday that we would go to the clubs and buy them a lap dance. That was the extent of it. Like no private ones. Like I'm talking like just right there in the open in the room, you know? Or like a toonie dive. They have things back then where a toonie dive, if you know what it is. And it was just funny. Like we all just went and laughed and we thought it was funny. And then this one time we saw a girl from our high school and she was working there. So it was like a little bit awkward. We're like, hey girl, so nice to catch up after graduation. Whatever, no shade. She was dancing. And then she tried to convince me to dance because she was telling me how much money she made. And I was like, girl, respect, but it ain't gonna be me. You're trying to recruit the wrong girl, but you go do your thing, girl. You look good. Anywho, those are my club stories. Nothing riveting by any means. And I have not been back since I was like 18, 19 years old, around that time. And I never went to like a male one. It was always the gals because we bought our guy friends dances. I really hope my mom never sees this video. Luckily, she doesn't know how to use YouTube, so bless her. So I have an update, and it's not a happy one, unfortunately. Remember how I was on that hold for that commercial? The day before, I was on hold the whole time. The day before, I got released, which means you're no longer needed. You did not book it. I know you guys, I saw all your love in the comments. You're like, good luck, you got this. We don't have it. We do not have it. It's just the way she goes. On to the next. We've made it to the final update on this saga. It's been 10 days since I posted the call that ended this relationship. I'm almost back to normal, although I can't quite shake a bit of it. Thankfully, I had a few days worth of paid time off to burn while I worked past this crap. I already scheduled my 2 weeks vacation this year for the wedding, but since it's canceled, I'll just spend it with the family and have a very extended Christmas with them. Outside of a few texts from Jane to my mother when things first blew up and her mother calling me the next day after I talked to Jane's stepfather, I haven't heard a peep from their clan side. Jane's mom tried to act as a mediator between us, but I shut that crap down and told her it's just not possible. She can be a bit pushy, but thankfully she realized it wasn't wise to push this time. I finally got to talk to the bridesmaid whose husband called me. She didn't offer any more details, and I didn't care to ask for any more by the time I talked to her. She just called me when she felt comfortable enough to wish me well and tell me that she's sorry for what happened. She's a very nice lady, and I feel bad for her because she works with quite a few of those women, and I don't envy how they are going to treat her at work. I asked her, and thankfully none of them had a manager authority over her, but it still sucks to be ostracized. Oh yeah, they're all gonna be pissed that she blew up their secret. As far as any of the other women, I haven't heard a thing, and my cousin has done a vanishing act. My mom took care of canceling all the wedding invitations as she was the one who helped send them all out. I asked her to just tell everyone that Jane and I had a change of heart about getting married and decided to put things off for the time being. Frankly, I'm embarrassed about what happened, and I don't want to be known among family and friends and people in town as the guy whose ex-fiancé whacked off and possibly screwed a dancer right before their wedding. I'm sure it will eventually get around, but if I let it fade like this, it will be more of a crazy rumor than confirmed fact for most people. I just really want to walk away with as little drama as possible and move on with my life. I've asked my mother to text Jane's mom to get the engagement ring back. Hopefully she won't give me any trouble as they were expensive, and a buddy of mine is willing to buy the ring set for exactly what I paid for them for his wedding in a few months. Oh, well, that would work out perfectly. I told him he better not tell his girlfriend where he got them, just in case she's worried my ex was wearing the ring when she was handling the dancer's, hot dog. I lost thousands in deposits for the venue, DJ, florist, catering, security, plane tickets, honeymoon suite, etc. I'm hoping I can recoup a little money by selling the rings. Anyway, I've decided to stay away from long-term relationships for an indefinite amount of time. This experience has made me very shy about love and relationships and all that mess. People have sent me all kinds of encouraging messages claiming that I'll eventually find the one. I'm doing my best not to be overly pessimistic, but when looking at the divorce rates and all the crazy conflicts between men and women these days, I'm starting to think the chances for anyone to do that are getting lower with each passing year. And I'm not the kind of guy who gets over stuff like this by running out and dating some other woman to sport hump right afterwards. So I think I'll just stay single for now and focus on my passions and work. Back to the comment section. Someone said, this really is a crap situation, but you made the right call. If the genders were reversed, your ex's friends would be telling her to leave you. This is why everyone from her side is so quiet. They know that she is up in an uncoverable way. Absolutely focus on yourself right now, but don't write off the long-term relationships forever. There are plenty of women who realize tossing off a dancer at their own hen, that is a bad idea. He responded and said, I've actually come to terms with the likelihood that I am going to lose a lot of mutual friends we made after we began seeing each other. Sadly, that can happen with breakups, especially when they end like this. Next comment, any more info from your ex or anyone else? He said, nothing from my ex's side. I still haven't responded to my mother's texts asking for the ring back. My only sources of info about what happened are the bridesmaid and my cousin, and neither are willing to give any more information than they have already. But I now strongly suspect that some of the women did more than just HJs when they got to the club. And then last comment, you should legally try to pursue getting the ring back. He said, I don't really want to go that route. If she doesn't give me the ring back, I'm out a little over $8,000. If I can sell the marriage band without the engagement ring, it will be a little less than that. It's not an insignificant amount, but at this point, it will be more trouble than it's worth to me. The ring and all the money you're missing out on all the other stuff. Oh. All for a bachelorette at a dancing club. Like, that's what you threw your life away for? I don't know. I have no interest in having that kind of bachelorette or whatever. I don't even know if I'll have a bachelorette, but it certainly will not be that kind. It's just not for me. I have no interest in it. Let me know your thoughts on this, you guys, and maybe you have your own stories. I've shared a little bit of mine, so it's only fair. See you next time. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy.